Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. All right, our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for stopping my daughter from studying as a punishment? I have a daughter who is 16, who is unlike any teenager I've ever seen. The problem is that she's extremely rude. I've tried many things to fix this, but nothing works. I've never had these problems with any of my other kids. With them, I could just say no electronics for a week or ground them or something like that, and it would be enough, but not for her. She doesn't care if I take away her electronics, she just picks up a few novels and starts reading them. She will actually be glad if I ground her and use it as an excuse to avoid all of our family gatherings, like, oh, we are going to Auntie's tonight, I wish I could come, but I'm grounded, and then happily goes to her room. The only thing that she likes is studying. Like, she will spend hours studying. Last night, when she was talking to her mom, she was being rude and very sarcastic. As my last option, I told her that she's not allowed to study until I decide that she has learned how to talk to her mom. She started to yell and called us jerks and said that's not fair. She then called my brother, who told us that we are jerks for not allowing her to study, but she gave us no other choice. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're a jerk. Studying affects her future. Taking away electronics for a week is like annoying, but it's not going to stop your kids from succeeding. But if she needs to study to do well,
OP, you are a frustrated father. I think that this is understandable. You have a very defiant daughter, and she's acting out. And teenagers act out. She's 16, she's strong willed, and she knows what she wants to do. Have you taken time to sit down and talk to her and try to tell her how her sarcastic comments make you feel? Have you tried to include her in the discussions about punishment? Have you tried to find out why she doesn't want to hang out with the family? Maybe this is just a matter of she doesn't like being around people because no one shares her interest, and maybe she feels excluded because everyone else is talking about things that she just doesn't find interesting.
or maybe she's introverted
Yeah,
and like, because it does sound like she's acting out in a way to get out of the social stuff. And so,
yeah.
like, are you pressuring her to do social stuff she doesn't want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And, it sounds like OP and his wife don't take any initiative to understand her. They're like, oh, she's a
Exactly.
weird teenager. I've
Yeah,
never met a teenager like her.
exactly. And then there's also other comments in here. I won't get into them, but basically, she's a stellar student. When she's actually at school, she doesn't have any behavioral issues. The teachers love her. And so this is really exclusive to her being at home. So that tells me that this is something that's about home, about her home life. OP is lecturing her. It sounds like they are giving her unsolicited advice. So the incident that he explains a little bit in the comments is that the mom was just trying to give her some advice, and she was like, "Oh, well, thanks. That's life-changing advice," right? And it just sounds like she isn't interested in being lectured by her parents.
Yeah. And so, like, I think try and talk to her would be the
Yeah.
first course of action and see if you can, like, if you haven't been putting any effort into understanding her or her interests, like, do you even know what she enjoys studying?
Yeah.
And so, as a last resort, like, if that doesn't get through to her, maybe a therapist, because there could
Yeah.
be, some kind of issue that's she's not comfortable talking to you about.
Well, and that's actually another thing is that kind of what I was hinting at the aunt's house is maybe it sounds like they might go over there often, and maybe she's had some negative experiences that she's not comfortable talking about, and that's something that you should consider investigating for sure and seeking therapy, because I think that therapy, maybe even family therapy, might be really helpful in this case because she might feel like she can't talk to you for one reason or another. Maybe she just feels like you're always lecturing her. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts here. Sounds like she's overall a good kid. She just has is sarcastic. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Siren says, You're the jerk, and your daughter's attitude issues aside, you have no idea how rare your daughter is. You have a kid who shrugs at her electronics being taken away and happily picks up novels in their stead. She enjoys studying and will spend hours at it without prompting. Did we step through time into some pre internet wormhole where kids actively pursued and actually enjoyed reading things other than screens? It must have crossed your mind that your daughter could simply be neurodivergent and need the therapy. and that her perceived rudeness may greatly be tempered through feeling like her family is actively trying to understand and embrace what makes her unique, rather than punish her for not falling in line and expectations with your other kids. I think that's mostly right. I honestly think that like the comment about kids these days in electronics was a little bit
Yeah.
off-putting, but
The,
I
the
agreed with the second
yeah,
half
the
of that.
second half of that I think brings a lot of valid points.
She just seems like she has her interests and they haven't taken any time to figure those out. All right, folks. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Hand Making Cream Cheese? Throwaway account since I know my boss follows my mane. I'm a 26-year-old female and I work at a retail store. We're all 25 to 30 except the front manager who's a 19-year-old male, Brad, who is a baker, and I know because he went to school with my little brother. I do know a little baking and a little cooking. I'm a better chef, and the only baked goods that I can really do are croissants, a special type of bread that my nana taught me, and cheesecakes. Cheesecake is literally the only dessert that I can make well. Brad and I talk a lot about cooking and baking. Brad has started bringing in some of his creations to work since a lot of times others are bringing in snacks. I have yet to do this because 1, I don't eat anything else anyone else brings in, and 2, I make $12 an hour, and I'm working 2 full-time jobs. Besides Brad, these people aren't my friends. I'm not going to spend my money on them. My store manager, Jack, a 30-year-old male, has made a few comments, but never pushed it since he's even said that we don't get paid much. Recently, though, I mentioned to Brad that I was making a pumpkin cheesecake for my other coworkers, and I got guilted into making one for my retail job. So I made it and I brought it in this morning. Everyone was talking about how good it looked and smelled and how they couldn't wait for break time to try it. On the register, 3 registers are connected to Brad, me, and the other coworker were all standing by each other. Brad asked about what kind of pie crust I used, and I told him that I made it from scratch like I usually do. He mentioned that he makes his cream cheese from scratch but can't make crusts. That seems like it's very hard. I laughed and I said that we're opposites. Jack heard and he came unglued. He started saying that I was lying about making it from scratch. I never said that except about the crust. That I just wanted the prestige of baking without the work, and even called me lazy. Let me know how many of you folks out there have made a cheesecake with your own homemade cream cheese. I would bet that it's not the norm.
Yeah, no, definitely use Philadelphia if I make one.
So I told him okay. I went back to the break room, I took my cake and I put it in my lunchbox since it has freezer packs and put it in my car. Jack was screaming the whole time, but when I came in, I reminded him that I'm entitled to 2 15-minute paid breaks and this was one of them. Now my coworkers are upset because I'm not feeding them, and several are saying that they assume that I made everything. Bakers often use pre-made ingredients, and I only had 1 day to make this because I was guilted. I didn't want to do it in the first place. I feel like I'm doing them a favor and they should just be happy. Brad is the only one who agrees because he says that he often uses pre-made components. Am I the jerk? Edit. People were agreeing with him as he was saying it before I took the cake out. If it had just been him, I would have probably just left it and not brought anything else. Also, Brad and I are the only 2 who bring stuff in that we actually make. Everyone else brings in store-bought stuff. I don't care though because I don't eat it. There's nothing wrong with store-bought snacks. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I'm gonna give you a 0 OP
Yeah.
because you did not have to make this. You know, it was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
And they had the audacity to start insulting you. Like, I.
That you just wanted baking prestige. It's not like you're in a world-class baking school and you brought in a cake for everyone to eat while you were in this, elite cooking school and there's like, I made this from scratch. It wasn't like you have homemade cheesecakes just laying around waiting to be brought in. No, these people are just ridiculous. That's what I have to say. They're entitled and ridiculous, and it just sounds like they're petty.
Don't make them food ever again. They don't
Exactly.
deserve it.
Exactly.
Except Brad. You 2 can make each other food.
Yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Luke Garreau, 95, says, not the jerk, very few people make cream cheese from scratch, so what's his problem? Jack sounds unhinged. And OP replies, I don't know, it's weird. He literally said multiple times that he wishes he could pay us more, that he knows that we don't get paid enough, but then he's mad that I didn't make my own cream cheese for a free dessert. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Enjoying Some Cocktails When We Were Splitting the Bill? I'm not a big eater. I like going out with my friends and enjoying a reasonable meal with a beer or two. My friends go nuts. They order $100 meals and appetizers with extra sides. When the bill comes, they are always just saying to split it evenly. So I end up paying 3 times the cost of my meal, and they each save a few dollars. We can all afford this. No one is going broke from these meals, but I don't think it's fair. I have mentioned a few times that we should get separate bills, but they never agree. Well, last time we went out, I was meeting my girlfriend afterwards for a movie. She's not the biggest fan of my friends, so she didn't join us. But I know that I had a ride home. I noticed that the restaurant that we were at had a really interesting cocktail menu, including a margarita with a glass azul reposado and an old-fashioned made with Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. So, as I invited my burgers and fries, I enjoyed a few drinks. When the bill came, my total was about $250, which is about $200 more than I usually top out at. We split the bill, but they were all giving me the side eye. One of them texted me and said that I was a jerk for patting the bill like that, and if I did it again, he was going to insist that we have individual bills. Oh no! The shock! The horror! Not the thing that OP wanted to begin with! I texted everyone and asked if they all felt the same. They did, so I apologized and agreed that from now on, when we go out, I will pay my own bill. My girlfriend thinks that I'm right for proving my point, but I'm still feeling the resentment from my friends. All right, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. They wanted to mooch off of you. Like, it's time they get a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, well, this is just, it's bizarre, right? When, they were fine with this when OP was spending extra money, but now they're not fine with it because OP is collecting what's due to them, so to speak. That's the point of splitting a bill evenly, is so that people can have their ups and downs and whatnot, and you should all be ordering within the same range, otherwise it isn't fair. And OP's expressed multiple times that he felt like he was getting the short end of the stick, but they just refused to listen to him, and I can't blame OP for pulling this. I don't even think they were doing it maliciously. I think they were just being like, well, I mean, if I'm gonna have to share a bill, I'm gonna share a bill. So yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Yachi Wannabe says, that's so funny. If you do it again, we'll do exactly what you asked before and get separate bills. Not the jerk. And Messy Chaos said, should have done this a long time ago. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have some tea here. And Amber has tea and a joke.
What does the government use when it takes a census of all the monkeys in the zoos?
I imagine it uses a congress of monkeys. I don't know.
An ape recorder.
An ape recorder? I suppose they do. And I have licorice spice. I didn't guess it right, so I guess Google is probably just trying to throw me off its trail. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week. What a week it has been. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I'm apparently not rich enough to know what this person has to say.